it takes over. Blood is running, heart is pumping as the battle gets closer. They can say what they want now, 'cause we'll be screaming now. We can be heroes everywhere we go. We can have all that we ever want. Swinging like Ali, knocking out bodies, standing on top like a champion. Keep your silver, give me that gold. You'll remember when I say we can be heroes everywhere we go. Keeping us down is impossible. We're unstoppable. Oh, we're unstoppable. We're unstoppable. We're unstoppable. We're unstoppable. We're unstoppable. We're unstoppable.
Good afternoon mga Summoners and welcome dito sa semifinals ng 2018 Bacchus Pro Gaming Series Spring Playoffs. Pero man, before we get into this, syempre pakilala muna kami bilang casters here for today. Arctic at your Sir Sam, syempre, at kasama natin si Chisto.
Yeah, and sobrang excited na makita yung defending champion sa atin ngayon. Tignan natin kung kaya din nilang i-eliminate ang TNC Pro Team. Pero of course, hindi magiging madali yun para sa kanila.
Yeah, it's gonna be quite a bit of a climb right there. And nakita naman kasi natin kung ganong consistent ang TNC as of this group stage. I mean, I've become a fan personally talaga ng TNC. Just seeing them, it's so refreshing na makakita ng team na after two splits of performing just way below the radar, all of a sudden, with a fresh roster, with a fresh management, with a fresh support staff, it just all came together 360, and I'm really interested in seeing how they'll fare in this rematch of sorts, going up against Team Manila Eagles.
Pero pag-usapan muna natin yung nangyari kahapon in the quarterfinal matches where we saw, unfortunately, half of the series was unstreamed between TME and Naga Esports, where TME were able to overcome Naga in a 3-2 best-of-5 win. Now they will be facing TNC Pro Team, and as you see on your screens right there, Barca XRH Esports eliminated Imperium Pro Team from the playoffs, picking up a 3-2 and recording the longest game of the split as well. And they will be facing off against Mineski later today. Pero yeah, let's go ahead and talk about TNC Pro Team and Team Manila Eagles. TME, throughout yung regular season Arctic, medyo pinag-usapan natin ito madalas sa shaky yung performance nila. Sometimes they're playing like they are the defending champions, and sometimes they just make these sort of weird mistakes that really is uncharacteristic of a top-tier team. Whereas TNC, nung nagsimula yung split, they were in the relegation tournament where they successfully defended their PGS slot, and now they ended as a second seed, which is why they are in the semifinals. So yeah, like you mentioned, sobrang ganda nung turnaround ng TNC as an organization headed into this 2018 playoff.
Man, but for Team Manila Eagles, medyo it was tricky because from what we heard, of course, unfortunately, we'll be seeing the VOD sa mga gusto makapanood kung what exactly went down between Naga Esports and Team Manila Eagles kahapon. We'll be releasing that very soon. Be sure to check out the Garena Pro Gaming Series page on Facebook for updates. But from what I hear, it was a pretty close game between these two. So that just goes to show that Team Manila Eagles, I don't consider them having gotten lower in terms of performance than what we saw last split. Nagkataon lang talagang ito yung season na napakadami talagang nag-step up. And I mean, the fact that they went equal against Naga Esports, kumbaga medyo interesting na how will they fare going up against a more consistent team in this best of 5.
Yeah, agree ako sa sinabi mo na it's not about TME dropping in their performance. I think everyone else in the PGS absolutely stepped up their game. And lahat talaga ng team gumaling, which goes to show you why Naga Esports were able to take TME to 5 games. Pero yun nga, gaya na sinabi mo, mas mahirap na kalaban ng TNC compared to Naga. So it is a very interesting series. It's definitely going to be a close series. And me personally, I can't predict who will come out on this because there are no clear favorites.
Man, I don't know, man, Chisto, because with this series right here, I mean, there's a lot of, well, looking at how TME performed, because we definitely saw a few step-ups from, I think JLC really stepped up his game during those best of 5s, that's for sure. We did see some pretty good moments from Marky, a few good moments from Trevor. Coops really showing just pretty much playing to the strengths of TME na basically bolsters everyone else in lane to make sure that they have a smoother transition into the later parts. But when you're gonna talk about TNC at the same time, it's a bit more trickier because there's this instance wherein almost everybody shines sa side ng TNC, even without Burst needing to influence the lanes as much. Everyone pretty much holds their own. So I wonder how that affects the dynamic as far as strategy goes pagdating sa laban nila versus with these two teams right here.
Yeah, and you went in depth talking about the players na meron sa TME. And let's talk about the players na hawak ng TNC. Of course, it is a new roster. And I think it was really one of the key factors in why they ended the regular season as the second seed. And especially the rookie Demon. I think he absolutely had a breakout rookie season. He absolutely performed well in the AD carry role, and Icarus coming back into the PGS was a really consistent top laner for TNC in my opinion. And he matched up well versus the top competition in the PGS. But yeah, quick recap of what happened in their group stage match. During the regular season, it's actually TNC that came out on top. So I wonder, mauulit kaya nila to lakban sa defending champions natin?
Man, that's gonna be tricky because it's just so hard to tell. Given na, pwede at one point, you could look at Team Manila Eagles na andun yung advantage nila, not just because of the title, pero andun rin kasi yung experience dealing with these high-pressure scenarios of being in the best of 5. Meanwhile, para naman sa TNC Pro Team, nakakita nga naman tayo na even though they're a pretty strong team, andun pa rin yung every now and then, which is very natural, yung mga I wouldn't necessarily say jitters, pero yung just the pressure in general. I'm wondering how they'll deal with it in a best of 5, especially kung magkataon na Team Manila Eagles ang mag-spear ahead with the first few wins. So I'm wondering how TNC will hold up as a result of that.
And iisipin mo, Arctic, the playoffs are uncharted territory for TNC Pro Team. In previous years, they have failed to make the playoffs, and now they're gonna make their playoff debut, if I recall correctly.
Yes.
And that could really be a factor, especially facing off versus a very experienced team, the defending champions, Team Manila Eagles.
And it's interesting because, we could say na TNC, may mga players sila na nakapaglaro na sa PGS. We have Icarus who was with Explicit, Hayes who was with La Liga Pilipinas, Orthros who's been there on TNC ever since na nakapasok na sa PGS. But if you're gonna look at the overall experience of all these players na kahit may PGS experience sila, none of them actually were able to make it as far as playoffs. Everyone was pretty much resigned to staying within the bottom 4 nung dating format natin na only the top 4 proceed to the playoffs. Although luckily naman, we're seeing the top 6, but TNC really didn't need that extra leverage with the extra 2 slots because they did play second, so pretty good showing. I'm wondering how it'll translate though in the playoffs.
Yeah, and looking at how they did perform nung regular season, I think they're pretty prepared to head into the playoff stage regardless of that experience discrepancy compared to TME. So I definitely think they will be prepared, pero still, it will be a very difficult test versus Team Manila Eagles as we head straight into pick and ban.
Yes, this is gonna be very interesting, guys. Alam mo, Chisto, yung hype natin kagabi, I'm really hoping na makakita tayo ng replication nun in the form of hopefully seeing more intense games between these teams. Not just TNC.
Lampasan natin yung isang oras.
Yeah, yung gusto ko talagang marinig ulit yung ni Vulcan because of how intense these games get. And talagang, that's probably one of the joys of being caster. But of course, enough of that. Let's go ahead and check out what's going on.
Yeah, looking at what has been banned here, mukhang ayaw makita ng TME yung Yasuo ni Hayes. Of course, TNC is the only team probably that will run this Yasuo because they are confident on that pick. They will default to Jarvan, which probably will go to Burst. I think that's his most played champion throughout this split. Though TME, yung response nila, JLC's Camille. This is very scary for TNC Pro Team kasi we saw the damage that JLC can do on this champion. He's extra aggressive on this Camille. It looks like yung matchup na dadalhin ni Icarus sa kanya ay yung Sion. Of course, Sion can still be a flex pick here. He has been played support previously. We'll just have to wait and see as we go on with the rest of the pick and ban phase.
I have to agree with you there, Chisto. Kumbaga, you can't really discount this Sion going top just yet kasi aside from Naga Esports, TNC Pro Team rin yung nakitaan naman natin na they have the potential to use these traditional champions in unconventional ways. Although, science support, it's not probably as unconventional kasi nakita naman natin siya sa international. So, seeing it here in local, not really as much of a surprise either. But looking at the second rotation,
sobrang daming power picks na nakuha ng TME. They have the Camille in the top lane, the jungle Skarner, so popular right now, especially running the Predator. You can really just pressure a lot of your foes, and the Alistair as well. And the Corki, a safe mid lane pick here, going against the Cassiopeia. TNC, though, will be picking the Janna, possibly to peel for Demon's Tristana. If TME do want to dive in, they have to deal with the Janna knocking them back with the Monsoon and the Howling Gale.
So everything's pretty much locked in here. So no fancy switcheroos from TNC. We will be seeing traditional lanes across where you'd expect these champions to be going. Same goes naman para sa Team Manila Eagles. I'm interested in seeing how JLC will work this kami. Although by history, nakita naman natin siya kung ganong kasakit niya mag-pop off once he does get that lane going. But going up against Icaros, I think that might be a little bit of a different story. But with how Suzaku yesterday demonstrated just how painful a Camille can be, I mean, JLC here, another one of the no fun top laners
Yeah, I think
in the PGS.
I think it's no argument when
Yeah.
you say that JLC probably one of, if the not best top laners in the PGS, and he has proven with his performances and his results that he deserves to be called one of the best.
Yes. But I guess at the end of the day, we'll just have to find out how that translates. Because even though you might be the best in your role, if it doesn't come together in the actual game in terms of execution, things could potentially fall apart. So ladies and gents, nakita nyo nga ang drafts ng parehong teams natin. If you're rooting for TNC Pro Team, be sure to use our hashtag TNC win. Or of course, para naman sa Team Manila Eagles having come off fresh from the quarterfinals kapang group. If you want to see the Eagles take it all the way to the finals, hashtag TME win. Of course, be sure to share our stream as well. Whether you're watching on Facebook Live or sa gaming.youtube.com/pagegarena/live at ipakita ang support nyo para sa teams na paborito nyo dito sa PGS. It's coming down to the wire, guys. All the support in the world would really help our players. Yung mga extra bolster niya ng confidence para sa kanila.
Yung makikita natin ngayon sino ang mag-aantay sa finals to find out possibly who they will face. Both of these teams, if they do make it to the final, ang mga kalaban nila ay either Mineski or Barcy X-Rage Esports. And man, I'm really happy to see the competition in the PGS just rise up through this. And this series is probably gonna be one of the most competitive arcade.
Man, but okay, so looking at the compositions here, let's go ahead and talk about the teams a bit more. Well, probably more so TNC Pro Team. Kasi Team Manila Eagles, we've been talking about them for quite a bit since our
yesterday.
quarterfinals. Yeah. So, they've had quite the run here so far. Meanwhile, para naman dito sa TNC Pro Team, gaya nga ng sinasabi ko, one of the things I really love about them is that everyone across lanes can hold their own. And, kumbaga, like, if I were back to coaching, let's say, and if I had to choose a team that I would have loved to work with, TNC Pro Team would be one of them. Kasi we're not just looking at strong players here. I feel like one of the key factors as to why TNC Pro Team really worked as a team nitong recent split is everyone across the board are pretty much the dream player you'd want na aren't only talented, but they're receptive to criticism, accepting mistakes, working on eliminating or at least lessening yung weaknesses nila as a player. And I think it just shows with not just how they've been playing, but also even yung flexibility ng picks nila. The fact that they could run all these different champions also shows that they have that adaptability to work with different things without allowing themselves, without having that superstar complex na I really want to shine in lane. Baga, someone will always be ready on TNC Pro Team to take the bullet in, let's say, the laning phase to realize the bigger picture in the later parts of the game.
Man, Arctic, you make it sound like you want to get back into the PGS with Emperor Esports, but let's hold off on that thought as we head straight into Summoner's Rift.
And there you have it, folks. It has come down to this. We're just a week away from the finals. Pero dito na tayo magkakalaman kung sino sa mga teams natin ang mag-proceed sa big event na yon within the next coming week. Will it be TNC Pro Team or Team Manila Eagles? This is game 1. Let's go.
Yeah, of course, this is best of 5 Arctic. We are playing on patch 8.4. So Sion, very popular pick here. It's very normal to see those banner of commands come out as a first item, have that pushing advantage because nakita naman natin yung damage na kayang gawin ng Banner of Command if you pair it with a Baron buff. And I think what that does to the game is it makes it a very snowbally game in a sense na kung kayo makalamang and kayo makasecure ng unang Baron and you pair that with Banner of Command, you can take so many objectives away from the enemy team. So I think this patch in general rewards teams who play aggressively in the early game to get the leads that they want.
Exactly. And you know what's funny is that, remember few weeks past, pinag-usapan na it's the league of stopwatch. As the game goes along, as of this recent patch, it's been a lot of League of Banner of Commands across the board. So I think it's pretty much shown how influential it is and how powerful a tool it is within the later parts of the game. Kumbaga, we've seen a lot more of these advantages in the earlier games for the past patches. So it's interesting to see that we're seeing something that's a little bit more geared towards later parts.
Well, alam mo naman, Arctic tayo mga Pinoy, mahilig tayo makisakay dun sa mga nagtitrend sa buong mundo. Eh.
Yes.
Nakita natin, sobrang trendy ng Banner of Command build na yan, especially in Korea in the LCK kung saan they really abuse that item. So yeah, I guess we're just jumping on kung ano yung uso.
Pretty much.
It's a very common trait here.
Yeah. I mean, andun din nga naman yung adaptability. And I guess that's kind of a good thing naman talaga. At least, nakakasunod tayo sa what really works. Because other regions, in all fairness, hindi naman siya yung tipong natripan lang nilang gamitin. But it's what was yun yung na-deem nila basically, what really works, what is probably the best thing you could abuse that's powerful as of yung recent meta. But of course, I've talked quite a bit about TNC earlier. Bigyan rin naman natin ng onting info yung audience natin na hindi nakapanood ng quarterfinals.
Yeah,
About
TME,
yeah.
unfortunately, only 2 games were streamed, I believe, and the rest of the matches were not seen. Oh, there's a bit of a trade though. Hold up.
Rocks going straight in onto Demon will get depleted to half his health. So, medyo magchill lang siya. But yeah, you were saying about TME.
Yeah, going back to TME's series versus Naga Esports yesterday, it was Naga who initially had the lead in that series, but TME with the championship mentality were able to come out on top in the full 5-game stretch, and maybe exhaustion could be a factor here, Arctic, who knows, but yeah, they were able to defend their championship still. They were not out of the tournament after they bested Naga.
And of course, with Chista giving the bigger picture here for Team Maniligas, looking at players, gaya nga ng nasabi ko, I mean, aside from TNC, I mean, I've been very vocal about how I've been such a fan of their progress, but I still have a place in my heart pa rin for TME being the team that I did support in Rampage. Against all the odds, everyone else was pretty much gearing for Mineski during the finals. I was only one that was supporting TME, but with very good reason. I really just like the dynamic of TME, gaya nga ng sinasabi natin, JLC. Personally, for me, I deem him probably the best PGS. Probably others have a different opinion, but for me, he's the best right now. So just having that powerhouse right there is such a strong asset for TME. Not to mention Marky as well. When it really matters, nakapag-perform talaga siya. We see these crazy plays all of a sudden in even the higher pressure situations, lalo nung finals natin where he just really popped off to secure that win that was able to secure them the champion title. But yeah, that's just a little bit of info para naman sa mga viewers natin dyan. A little bit about TNC. Both very strong teams, but the execution talaga, I'm really interested in seeing if with the drafts that they have, how they'll live up to win conditions.
Alam mo, Arctic, tuwa ako na kayo ni Vulcan talagang hilig niyo sa TME.
Yeah, I'm
Like, you really support them in a way where you really like the players, and I think it's very good.
yeah. I mean, in all fairness, like, what I really like about, kasi ito yung mga bagay na hindi nakikita ng mga summaries natin. I mean, I've talked a lot about them on the riff, pero even off the riff, these are players na talagang I have high respect for.
Very humble.
Yeah, very humble people. So, it's not really something that I look at just in pure mechanics alone. Because there's a lot of mechanically talented players in the PGS. I really like the 360 that having the mechanics as well as that workability and adaptability within a team environment.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and talk about the players here and their builds. Scopes did go back to base. He did pick up his boots. He is running the Predator on Skarner, and generally you want to get boots first back so you can really abuse that rune. Skarner does want that movement speed to run at you, stun you with his E. That's a bit of a trading in bot lane.
Yes, and
Versus
looks like
here though.
he's gonna try to make a play. Marky's trying to walk it out. That's gonna be the flag and drag right there. Even with Marky flashing out, that is gonna be first blood. Going to Demon, and of course they try to go for rocks as well. Won't be enough. Burst almost goes down. Luckily survives to tell the tale, but that's gonna be quite the check mark for TNC.
Yeah, that was well played by TNC's jungler. He was able to dodge around the vision that TME did not have set down yet. Oh, hold that thought. They're trying to respond.
Yes, they are gonna go for a response in the form of Icarus right here. Icarus is very, very low on mana. No unstoppable onslaught to run his way out of there just yet. Patuloy pa rin ang abol ng teammate. Will eventually get the kill.
JLC though, he's gonna trade his life for this, so that's great for Icarus, trading 1-for-1. TNC coming out on top in these early skirmishes, but going back to the bot lane, I don't think Marky noticed that Burst had already snuck up behind him, because the moment that Jarvan came forward, he already burned his 90 caliber net, one of Caitlyn's escapes, and great patience as well by Burst. Inantay niya na mag-flash muna si Marky bago niya binato yung flag and grab combo, not needing to burn his gap closer, and that really led to them securing the kill. And Arthurs as well flashing forward, super aggressive on a Janna, a champion you generally won't see players flash forward with. So just great early game plays by TNC.
Meanwhile, towards the top side, we did see gang coming in from Hoops. Although, interesting enough, JLC went down in the process. I'm kind of wondering though, was it really necessary for him to style in under turret? Because gaya na nakita, Hoops was able to deal the final blow. But JLC kind of went all the way under that turret right there, which cost him a 1-for-1 in the top lane.
It's pretty normal for us, Arctic, na makita si JLC to dive turrets here. And regardless ng timestamp sa game, I don't think mag-hesitate siya na gawin yun. Especially on Camille. You all know how aggressive this guy plays. So yeah, it might be a questionable decision in his case kung bakit pa siya nagpapatay dun. But still, it is a kill onto the Skarner. Will help him get even faster in this game.
Meanwhile, looking at Icarus though, upon respawning, upon just kind of buying up here, immediately goes for the early Ninja Tabi to deal with a bit of the damage that JLC is gonna dish out once they do go for these 1v1 trades towards itong top side natin.
Yeah, especially Camille, a champion that relies on some auto attacks to poke you down. Pero generally, you want to get HP because her Q deals true damage if you proc the second part of it. So the Ruby Crystal pickup as well will mitigate some of the damage that JLC can put out here. So yung trade na nangyari since nag-1-for-1 top lane, it definitely benefits Ikros a lot. And it'll help him not get bullied as much by the Camille in this matchup.
Meanwhile, towards the mid lane, Trevor. Okay, that's gonna be a blue buff pass coming in to just help Trevor spam out abilities more consistently against Hayes. Both champions actually a little bit on the spammier side as far as abilities go.
And speaking of champions that spam abilities, I think this patch really buffed champions that rely heavily on mana, especially, oh, hold that thought, JLC's mid lane.
Yeah, 3 members of Team Manila Eagles are gonna go onto Hayes. Just no chill at all coming in from the Eagles, and that will be a kill onto the mid laner of TME. Meanwhile, para naman dito sa bot lane, Marky is gonna go down again. At long deep pa rin tapos si Demon. That's gonna be the double kill. Will he survive to tell the tale? Yes, he does with a slither of health. That's quite a bit of value. Across the board, 1 for 2, still in favor of TNC.
Yeah, mukhang parehas ng team na to, may mga balak sila this game, pero nasa magkakaibang lugar. When you see TME making a play mid lane, TNC are actually making a play bot lane as well. And unfortunately, Rock's still not level 6 on this Alistar. Wala pa siya nung ultimate to have the damage reduction. Will go down to Demon. So already 3 kills on the Tristana, one of the more snowbally AD carries in the current meta. I really like the start by TNC, putting a lot of resources onto Demon.
And it's interesting to note as well that for TME, even with the kills up for TNC, okay, unstoppable onslaught. Ooh, Icarus kind of hits a wall there. But still, yeah, as I was saying though.
Medyo hindi niya kinaya mag-drift dun.
Yeah,
Kinulang. Masyadong masikip.
Yeah, a little bit off the angle there. And yeah, a bit unfortunate, pero still didn't really deter him. No harm. But yeah, as I was saying, interesting to note na despite the 2 kills up para dito sa TNC, and technically, kung titignan mo rin yung CS, it's not really as far, probably except for top side wherein Icarus nang lumalabang, but versus Trevor, who's about a wave and a half up in comparison to Hayes. Gold is still pretty equal though. I think this pretty much contributes to kleptomancy on JLC if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's still fairly early in the game, pero you can look at the gold team. It does look even, pero you have to take note that majority of the gold from TNC is on the Demon, on Tristana. Binanggit ko kung gaano ka snowball itong game na to. If TNC are able transitions Demon's lead into their mid game, sobrang bilis nila mag-siege dito, especially with Icarus probably gonna buy a Banner of Command soon. And Demon Tristana just shreds towers so fast. So yeah, like I mentioned, kung kayang gamitin ng TNC lead na meron si Demon, he can really take a game. He can really take game 1 from TME.
It's very complimentary at the same time, because we've been talking about in pretty much the group stage how Demon, like if you give him at least kahit equal playing field man lang sa bot lane in the earlier phases, he's just gonna slowly build up. But the fact is, medyo na amp up siya because of what has been happening dito sa bot lane thus far, which has led to yung nakikita nating standing ni Demon ngayon na 3-0. And napakaganda to para sa TNC. It just kind of gives them a little bit more of a bolster that plays to their strengths all the more.
Yeah, Burst definitely putting a lot of priority leads to Demon having this lead in the bot lane. Pero mukhang Coops is hovering around this side. He's gonna try and relieve the pressure that TNC are dealing in the bot lane. Will they start his Dragon though? TNC have rotated towards Ocean Drake. TME can challenge this if they want to. They do have to poke with the Corki. Coops. TME knows this. Tignan natin, will they challenge it or will they give it up?
Looks like, are we going to be seeing a fight though, Chisto? Looks like that won't be the case just yet.
Okay.
TNC will successfully secure the Dragon right there.
Yeah,
So-
good Dragon take by TNC. Now Coops is on the wrong side of the map.
Yes, Cook is gonna go ahead and draw in Hayes right there. That's quite a bit of damage there. Hayes, he's trying to go straight for Trevor. Trevor gonna Valkyrie getting out of there, but that's gonna be the Cataclysm to lock him down. Hayes gets the kill. Teleports have been thrown in JLC. He's gonna join the fray to mediate things. Icarus though gets the boop onto him, and he just gets locked down. And that will be two members of Team Manila Eagles that soar down.
Yeah, that's very unlucky for TME. JLC practically teleports to his death. The response from TNC Pro Team was great. Now they're flashing in for Coops. He has no flash.
Coops, man, beautiful play there. Icarus, no hesitation whatsoever to go for that flash into the knockoff. And this may result to potentially first turret of the game. Will Marky and Rox be able to prevent that though?
Yeah, I mentioned the lead that TNC have in the bot lane. Just right there, it shows the lead that they have since Demon and Arthros have been constantly pushing back Marky and Rox. Sila yung naunang mag-response to that mid lane play. Coops as well, kind of unfortunate, gets caught out while while trying to invade the enemy jungle without his laner in a position to help him. So, in a way, Coops baited his team into losing all of that. TNC, they pick up 3 kills, they pick up the mid lane tower, and now they are so far ahead in this early game.
I think the tricky part here is that let's go ahead and take into consideration yung compositions ng parehong side. But ooh, okay, I'm gonna have to hold off right there real quick. Is Demon and Arthur's gonna go for it? Okay, there's just gonna be a little bit of a scare onto Marky there. Pero yan, gaya nga ng sinasabi ko. Let's go ahead and look at scaling right here. Because how does this work out for TNC? Because does this allow them to just reach a point in the game wherein they spike faster than TME? And does TME kind of need to wait it out a bit?
I mean, TME, they can choose to wait it out here. They do have good scaling with the Corki and the Caitlyn, both very effective champions once you go on to the late game. But like I mentioned, this patch 8.4, it rewards teams for playing aggressive in the early game. But once Icarus here buys the Banner of Command and then they pair it with TNC taking a Baron buff, hindi nila hayaan yung TME na umabot dun sa point na they can scale towards that late game. So, yeah, I think TNC are in a position to just transition their early laning leads into that mid-game spikes that their team are gonna have.
So let's go ahead and see though if Team Manila Eagles, kung ma-hold out ba nila tong later parts ng game, especially kung mag-decision na yung TNC na maging mas proactive within these next few minutes and just amp up yung advantage na meron sila with the lead na na-establish na, especially through Demon. He is just popping off so earlier on.
Yeah, I think the reason why Demon has been popping off early on is because of the priority that Burst put towards the bot lane compared to Coops on the Skarner, which needed to hit that level 6 in order to be relevant on the map. Burst doesn't need his level 6, he just can gank way early, and I think TME did not respect the gank pressure from the Jarvan, and that's why they find themselves in the hole. Now, Coops is already level 6, pero hindi pa tayo nakakita ng impale niya to really help his team and really set them up. TME are in such a tough position right now.
Towards this mid lane though, a little bit. I mean, at least it's a little bit of a salvation here that Trevor and Hayes a tad bit more equal on. We do see that Trevor has already completed Trinity Force, but of course, there's still a bigger question here towards bot side, wherein Marky still trying to finish up on his first item, whilst Demon already building up on his second. So it's quite the build up here. I'm wondering what TME will at least try to do to help. Okay, let's go ahead and see. Hextech Ultimatum will be popped up to stop the unstoppable onslaught. Prevent Icarus from escaping.
There's
Burst.
Burst.
Stasis right there. Mukhang tutulungan na ni Burst. They're gonna go for the flag and drag right there. Doesn't knock up anybody, but this is quite the fight right here. Icarus, he's slowly depleting in terms of health, but they might actually get JLC before that happens. Burst flashes in for the kill. Icarus helping out a bit here. Immediately going for Coops. Trevor a little bit in too late for the party. Is TNC gonna pursue though? Hayes looks like he's gonna do just that. Gonna capitalize on Trevor being low on mana, but won't push the envelope.
Oh, ang swerte ni Trevor na hindi tumama yung Q ni Hayes because Hayes would have definitely gone more forward there now. Trevor, I don't think he can defend this. Hazenburst are gonna take the top lane tower.
Yes.
Oh, I lied. I actually lied, Arctic. Trevor is going to be able to defend this tower, but going back to that, it's actually TME initiating onto Icarus, but he bought enough time. He's so tanky on the Sion. He bought enough time for Burst and Haze to arrive with the roam up and trade the kills onto Team Manila Eagles.
Yeah, that's a little bit trickier there for Team Eagles. Even with the proactivity to try to balance things out, ang bilis na naging response. Like you mentioned, Icarus buying time there. Just enough time for Haze to get into that. Trevor was a little bit into later. And of course, as a result, look at the value again. This is what I love about TNC. As soon as something goes their way, they're immediately able to look for other objectives that they could take to just be the cherry on top. In this case earlier, it was Dragon towards the bottom side, towards the top side with the success that they've concurred. Red Herald naman. So it's really building up here. The momentum is crazy coming in from TNC. Game 1 pa lang tayo, guys. Take note.
Yeah, alam mo, Arctic, gusto ko tong playoff version ng TNC because during the regular season, they tend to play a bit more slowly tapos magbabank on team fighting late game sila. But on this game, on patch 8.4, they look like they really adapted na they're really playing aggressive, trying to get the leads, and can Demon finally take down this top lane tower?
Not
Konti
just
pa.
yet.
Konti pa, Arctic.
Just a little bit more.
Isang wave pa.
Next episode, guys.
Tignan
Next
natin.
episode.
Ito na.
Ayan. So it looks like they're
One
going to go for it. JLC is going to win straight
Yeah,
up. That
okay.
turret is as good as gone. And I think, kung di ako nagkakamali, that's all first-tier turrets down for TME. So that's going to be tricky because TNC, that's just a bigger advantage for them as far as yung control na kaya na nilang exert sa map, with TME being a little bit more limited because of the absence of their first layer of turrets.
Yeah, and since wala na nga yung mga outer turrets, it allows TNC to invade the jungle of TME. They can lay down more wards, set up vision, and it's very scary for TME to face check now because the members of TNC are so fed. And Infernal Drift top it off. TNC feel good about this.
Pretty much. And that's just going to be all the more pain in the world that they're going to bring to TME.
Yeah, TNC, they're beginning to snowball really hard here, and now meron pa silang Grift Herald, so they can use that objective to take down even more turrets from TME. Oh, I hear Cyanol. Oh, he's going back to lane.
Okay.
He's going back to lane. I'm looking at the minimap. Look.
Yeah, I was like, okay, where's that going? Are we going to be seeing some action? But no.
We are going to see some action.
Looks like Coops is going to be just that. He's going to blast his way out of there. For Mukhang, going to wait out. Trevor is within the vicinity in case something does erupt between both these teams. They will back away though.
I like the use of Cyan ult Arctic. It's very practical. Instead of burning your teleport to go back to lane, why not just ultimate? It's on the lower cooldown.
It's on your way back there. And you have to take note.
Wait, he popped his Regis Glory.
Okay. If I'm not mistaken, Icarus, he already has the 10% through the Righteous Glory. Not to mention, if he is running Transcendence, that could transition to an additional 10%. But that really depends. I'm not really sure. He is running the Sorcery Path, though. So, if I'm not mistaken.
No, he's running Inspiration.
No.
That's Glacial
Inspiration.
Augment, Arctic.
That's Glacial Augment. Okay.
That's Glacial Augment.
That's
So
confused by the blue there.
whenever he auto attacks people, he's gonna slow them down. Whenever he procs the glory, it will slow them down even more. So Cyan just being that huge CC meat shield in front of TNC. And looking at the rest of TNC here, it's very hard for Coops to actually get in to try and catch out Demon or Haze if Orthros is beside them, because the Janna can just constantly knock back the Skarner. It's working out so far for them. I haven't seen Coops get that catch here. Hindi pa natin siya nakita kahit flash impale onto anyone and really set his team up, and that's really hindered TME.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting point to bring up because we go back to one of the strengths that Coops has. It's actually both a strength as well as could be a detriment if he doesn't pull it off. The strength in the sense na gaya nga ng sinasabi natin, he's kind of a force that allows he complements the lanes for Team Manila Eagles, allows them to transition better in the lane. But if that doesn't happen, things just kind of get a little bit more trickier for TME if Coops can't really just make things happen on Summoner's Rift para sa Eagles natin. So, it's a bit unfortunate here. Although, in all fairness naman, the window isn't completely shut yet. All TME needs to do is just kind of try to last out the next probably 10 to 15 minutes. Hope to transition a little bit more better, but not to a point where hopefully TNC takes way too many objectives for it to become a bit more of an easier ride there.
Oh wait, did Burst put the Rift Herald around the Krugs? Oh, I didn't think... Oh, I didn't say stuck!
Okay. Yeah, it just eventually has to walk its way. And they'll have to just go straight down to supplement that.
Is this the rotation to the failed Rift Herald? Oh, JLC, no!
Yes, JLC forced to just flash away pero patuloy pa rin habulin ng TNC but that won't be enough. Orthros does get the kill. I think they just rolled with the punches there. Kumbaga, Rip Herald was someone, okay, we have no choice but to make use of it. And
Okay, and dun yung
worked out.
Rift Herald sa bot.
Yeah.
Uy, makuha din natin si JLC, so kind of lucky for TNC. But yeah, very unfortunate for TME that they're in this situation. 21 minutes into the game. Already a 5k goal lead by TNC. And pag na-siege na tong bot lane ng TME, if you're actually able to go all the way towards an inhibitor here, it will mean that TNC are in a much better position to take the Baron.
Exactly. And that's just something that TME does not want under any circumstances. Looks like they will manage to at least make sure that TNC doesn't push it all the way into the inhibitor turret. But still, that's going to be quite a bit for TME to deal with, and it just amps up. It allows TNC to amp a bit more. It looks like they're going to try to go for the siege towards this mid lane. TME, they're trying to defend as hard as they can, just trying to get those ranged hits in. That will fend off TNC for a bit,
I mean,
but for how
TME
long?
do have wave clear. They do have the Corki and the Caitlyn to shove away these waves. As for TNC, it's just Demon realistically hitting these towers. So kung gusto pigilan ng TME yung push from happening, you need to find an engage on the Demon. But given that they are in a position kung saan sila yung lugi, it's very difficult to find a great engage. So it's definitely risky. But if they want to stop TNC from pushing here, they need to engage at some point.
You have to try to look for an angle to work with here, because as far as people that can get onto Demon right away, probably JLC just styling his way in there, Coops with a little bit of a speed up, but I don't think there's any way TME can just ram their way straight into Demon, especially with such a solid front line coming in from TNC, and of course with when worst comes to worst, the disengage coming in from Orthros. So that's just quite a bit of a tricky predicament here for TME to deal with as far as kung anong tools na meron sila sa kampo.
Yeah, and papasok na tayo dito sa mid-game arc, and Baron is beginning to look like such a great objective take for TNC. Looking at their carries, Demon already has his Infinity Edge and Static Shiv, working on another Zeal item, possibly the Rapid Fire Cannon. And Haze, he already has a Rod of Ages and a fully stacked Seraph's Embrace. So if TNC do decide to go for a Baron, they do have the tools to take that objective down fairly quickly. They do have control of the area in terms of vision. Look at the buddy system here.
Yeah.
They know that there's a Skarner that can flash on them at any time. So Burst and Arthur are going as a two-man unit. So pag may nahuli sa kanila, at least the other guy either can save the guy that got caught or get out with his own life.
Pretty much. And I think it's pretty systematic right there, coming in from TNC. And it just becomes all the more trickier for Team Eagles to realize kung ano yung conditions nila with this composition right here as far as trying to get back into the game or lasting out this game. In all fairness though, it has reached a little bit more of a steadier pace for TME, but then again, it's just TNC looking for windows of opportunity. JLC though,
Windows.
is he gonna present himself in that? Look at the damage coming in from Demon. Didn't even stand a chance, JLC, and he goes down.
Speaking of windows of opportunity, JLC gets caught out in his own jungle again, and that's just because TNC have been starving them of vision. Now with that bot lane play, TME, they saw two members of TNC towards the bot side. I think they tried to group up and go for vision around the Baron area. Pero malas lang nila, the rest of TNC were there to defend. Now, bot lane is under fire.
Oh man, TME, they have to start doing something. TNC, look at all the power happening.
Oh, no.
Here. Trevor has to deal with both Burst as well as Haze. Trevor gonna try to make his way out of there, but it won't be enough. Copes might actually be the next target here. As patuloy pa rin hinahabol ni Haze dito. He actually gets a speed boost via the poison. He's continuing to chase though. Wants to get at least a Twin Fanger tooth to finish the job right here. I don't think he'll make it though. Copes does make it to safety, but what are they gonna lose in the process?
They're losing a lot here. Demon is so fed. JLC. He's already 0, 6, and 3. That's very unlucky for Team Manila Eagles, and with their top laner going down, TNC are able to secure the bot lane tower. I think the inhibitor will fall down very shortly. Okay, TNC are just taking everything on Summoner's Rift right now, Arctic.
Pretty much.
They're just that far ahead where they can take bot lane inhibitor with 3 people, and 2 of their members are also taking Baron at the same time.
Not giving a care in the world, TNC, are they? And man, this is such a strong showing, and we're only in on game 1, guys, and that's gonna be Baron Nashor taken freely by TNC.
That's as free as Baron could get. Everyone's occupied defending the bot lane, and TNC with a Cassiopeia, you can easily two-man this Baron. Now with this candidate, they're probably gonna take more from TME. I think that's a fair assumption at this point, Arctic.
Pretty much. I don't know, Manila Eagles, that window of opportunity, they want to pry it open by transitioning into later minutes of the game, but TNC, they just really want to shut that And it's all the more tricky. I'm wondering what configuration we'll be seeing from TME. Gaya nga nung nakikita natin dito sa bot lane. Already super minions pushing in, so easily could go topple up top and mid lane, especially with the support of this Baron buff. Complement that with, okay, luckily for TME though, there aren't any banner of commands just yet from the side of TNC.
Oo nga, alam mo, nagtataka din ako why Icarus went for the Scion pick but didn't go for Banner of Command. Mukhang hindi siya nakikiuso sa mga trend.
Yeah, that would have been the nail in the coffin. Man.
Speaking of nails in the coffin, ba't ka nagpakita?
Ouch! Looks like Trevor gonna get grounded right there. Gonna
Bye
try to Valkyrie his
bye.
way, but with the speed boost, Hayes was just Tokyo drifting his way on Summoner's Rift.
That's very lucky for Trevor. Trying to shove out the wave because TNC would have definitely went to top lane for their next push. But yeah, he gets caught out by Hayes the Cork, getting assassinated by Cassiopeia.
This is such a crazy smackdown coming from TNC right now. Look at the goal difference already at 10,000. And we're only 20-16 into the game. Unstoppable onslaught. Icarus is going to go in, won't find the target right there. Does cause TME to kind of disperse a bit, and that will be enough for TNC to persuade them away from the turret. Looks like an inhibitor will be taken as well. Is this going to be the last time TNC? They're going very systematic with this. They're going to make a transition towards top side.
This is
already
zoning
on.
Scion.
Exactly.
It's a zoning Scion on Arctic. That's one of the uses for that ability. Everyone just forced to back off because Icarus is so tanky. TME, they don't have enough damage to take down the Zion at this stage of the game. Now TNC still with the Baron buff are gonna try and take down the third inhibitor turret.
TME, they need a hope and a prayer right now if they want to salvage this game one, because TNC, they have all the makings of making the finish if this fight doesn't quite go in Team Manila Eagles' favor. But with the lead that TNC has, that's a major possibility. Let's go ahead and see how the Eagles play this out. They managed to clear out the wave though. That's a pretty good trick right there with the kit that they have.
Yeah, TNC are playing this super methodically. They're not pushing forward. They're waiting for their minions to arrive. And since Ishtana has so much range, she can just auto-attack this tower every time she can get close. See, the wave will come here. Arthurs will shield him. Another zoning Scion ult!
Yes, he's going to go straight and doesn't mind moving the turret as long as TME disperses. That's going to be a two-man cataclysm coming in from first. Copes to the first. The fall fortune is not tanky enough. The rest of TME, they're trying to disperse, but the damage is just too much for them to deal with. Two members of TME are down. Roxy's on the run. Demon, he's going to send the dumbest away. He's a beast right now. Double kill for the AD carry of TME. They want to go for the cleanup though. Demon, he's not done just yet. He wants to make this an amazing game one for himself. Triple kill right there. And ladies and gents, with Trevor, the only member of TME alive, 5 members of TNC still alive and kicking. This is a good done deal. Congratulations, as TNC Pro Team gonna take game 1 against the Eagles for this best of 5. Well played.
The only way I could describe that, Arctic, is practically a stomp by TNC on our defending champions. So game 1 will go to them. Pero para sa mga nanonood dyan, we still have to know that this is a best of 5. TNC did get the first game. Ang tanong ngayon, can TME bounce back like we all know they always do?
I think it's pretty much, to put it plain and simple, tanong siya ulit, who soars higher, the Eagle or the Phoenix?
I don't want to talk about birds at the moment, Arctic. I really don't know. Because one of them is mythical.
That's true.
How can you redefine that? But yeah, going back to what happened in that game, it all really fell apart for TME once Demon got rolling on Tristan. A very snowballing AD carry. And sinabi ko nga on this patch, it really rewards teams for snowballing in the early to mid game, and really have to not only credit Demon for making use of his lead, and you have to credit Burst as well in the jungle, really setting up his AD carry for success. Ngayon for TME, questions are going to be asked because JLC, just after one mistake, I think he gave up all the pressure in his lane after that first gank attempt by Cops. He did die to the tower and traded 1-for-1, and it meant that Icarus did have enough gold to get the items he needed to trade versus the Camille in that lane. So I think just because the early game went so good for TNC, it meant that TME weren't able to set anything up, and that really hindered their chances of winning game 1. Pero yun nga, they have more chances to bounce back. I know the defending champions can do that.
Yeah, I think game 1, tingnan natin, heading into game 2, is that finally going to be the wake-up call that Team Manila Eagles needs to at least get things back on track for them. Malalaman natin yan in just a bit as the day goes along. Medyo mahaba-haba yung string natin, guys, as we have 2 semifinals happening right here. Of course, match 1 pa lang tayo. We'll see. For the meantime, quick break muna tayo with Newcasters Arctic at the Sirs now. Siyempre kasama ko si Chisto. Ito ang 2018 Bacchus Pro Gaming Series Spring Playoffs. See you guys in a while.
here. Arthas will shield him. Another zoning Cyanode!
Yes, he's gonna go straight and doesn't mind losing this turret as long as TME disperses. That's gonna be a two-man cataclysm coming in from Burst Cope to the first of all. Unfortunately, he's not tanky enough. The rest of TME, they're trying to disperse, but the damage is just too much for them to deal with. Two members of TME are down. Roxy's on the run. Demon, he's just gonna dump this away. He's a beast right now. Double kill for the AD carry of TME. They want to go for the cleanup though. Demon, he's not done just yet. He wants to make this an amazing game one for himself. Triple kill right there. And ladies and gents, with Trevor the only member of TME alive, 5 members of TNC still alive and kicking, this is a good done deal. Congratulations, as TNC Pro Team gonna take game 1 against the Eagles for this best of 5. Well played.
The only way I could describe that, Art, is practically a stomp by TNC on our defending